How's it going, Reef Builders? I'm Jake Adams, and I have a special kind of new video to share with you today. One of the things that I do every year as an active reefer in the Reef Aquarium community is I organize a nice big regional event in Denver, Colorado called Reefstock. And 2017, mind blown, will be the 10th time that I host this event together with reef builders, local clubs, a lot of volunteers, and it's just a really, really fun show. And so one of the things that I do as part of promoting Reefstock, and also to scratch my desire to just visit the fish stores back like when I was a kid, is I go to every fish store, every aquarium store that I can reasonably drive to in the Denver area to distribute the Reefstock flyers. This is how you know that the countdown to the show has officially begun. We've got all our sponsors here, major sponsors, and a schedule right on the back. So if you're in the Denver area, definitely look out for those at your local fish store. And now, normally when I visit the shops, I look out for frags and corals and fish that I might be able to collect. But this time I did something different. I basically looked out for all the coolest aquarium animals, freshwater, saltwater, plants, reef, corals, you name it. And I was able to pick up some cool clips from basically almost every shop that I went to. And I think it totaled about 17 different stores. And no doubt this is part of the reason for the success and the richness that Reefstock has become over all this time. So again, if you're in the Denver area or plan to be here at the end of February, make sure to go to reefstock.net for all the information. And in the meantime, enjoy this highlight reel, basically, of the coolest things I saw in all of the Denver area aquarium stores. Pavona maldivensis is one of my all-time favorite corals. It's a really unique species that has raised corallites, and unlike most other pavonas, it's more often found in orange, and green is the rare version. This shop is very well known for having a ton of great nano and pico reefs, and this is one that's been going for several years. It was just a par 38 spotlight. Lightning maroon clownfish have gotten a lot more common lately, but it's still hard to find a really nice specimen. So when I spotted this guy, I immediately cleaned a little spot in the glass so I can get a good look at him. And it's really cool to see his patterns coming in. Can't wait to see what this new clownfish strain is going to do in the future. The cream angelfish is not exactly high on people's wish list, but that's probably because they haven't seen a fully grown out, mature adult like this one, and I just love the pattern of the scales. The cool thing about aquarium shops that might specialize in freshwater yet still carry some frags is that you can see some small corals that are just sitting and conditioning and growing and looking really good, such as these single polyps of Blastomussa, and yes, I saw the small Artesia polyps. But another fish that they have was a batfish. This species mimics a dead leaf, and that is why it is hugging the surface. This is what it does in the wild. Zebra pleco is one of my all-time favorite fish, and these large adult breeding pairs that have actually bred for this shop. If you look in between the square breeding tubes, you can actually see a couple fry poking through. This is definitely no small feat, and especially not in a retail store environment. Being into aquariums is not always about the rare and super unusual, and I always take some time to appreciate classic fish such as these glass catfish. Just shout out to Dave Marriott, who always loved these fish. It's always really cool to see them in a group. While freshwater focused, this shop actually has a very respectable reef tank with a large rose level tip anemone, which pulses with the wave maker that they have in this tank. Still don't know what causes some tentacles to be bubble tip and others to be long, but it's still really cool to see these under some good lighting and looking really healthy. It's been a long while since I've seen a large adult tessellata eel, but this big boy was about 3 feet long in his own tank, and just have to wonder how long this guy's been in captivity, if he's shuffled from tank to tank, because oftentimes these large adults come back to the fish stores. This random fish is a tilapia butterco fry wearing the wardrobe of a prison inmate basically. Real mean fish, but very beautiful nonetheless. Borbonius anthias have gotten a lot more common in recent years, but it's still really hard to see a nice, studly specimen that is in the prime of health, such as this big male that's been in this aquarium for several years. Perfect pink, great color and vintage, nice. Here's a fish you don't see every day, the yellow-faced butterfly fish, Chaetodon xanthocephalus. It's closely related to the saddleback butterfly fish. This guy's back in quarantine and maybe about halfway to being adult size, but when they get big, they're really quite a looker, and I hope to see more of these guys in the aquarium hobby. The Leniatus fairy wrasse was once the holy grail for this group of fishes. These large, showy fairy wrasses swim around quite a bit, as you can tell from this video. Their color and pattern is just completely stupendous. Still only come from Australia, but it's just about one of the showiest fish you can get for an aquarium. And this guy is just waiting his turn back in quarantine until someone takes him home. Critical water testing of Reef Aquarium parameters has really taken off lately with ICP water analysis. And this is the inside of a big ICP machine that's going to come online here in Denver very soon. I can't wait to have ready access to this machine. Valued at about $10,000 a piece, these captive bred Genicanthus angelfish are the personal pets of this shop owner. One of the biggest surprises of my ultimate LFS fish store crawl was seeing this amazing joculator angelfish. Its blue and yellow color looks a lot like a bicolor angelfish, but where a bicolor usually costs about $30 to $40, this guy's closer to about $600 to $800. It's really rare to see this fish, usually they're fresh caught, but this guy had been sitting at this aquarium shop conditioning for several months, so he's bold and beautiful and just waiting for you to feed him. And one of his tank mates is a beautiful peppermint hogfish. This is a species that comes from the Indian Ocean, and it's nice to see that this guy's retained his color, not darkened up like they can in some bright lighting environments. As a committed coral junkie, I could do so many videos at Aquatic Art, but I decided to focus on their big, fleshy donut corals. So on the right, you see an Acanthophilia, and in the center right there are some Homophilia australis, or Australian scolemia. Of course, I had to share with you this fabulous stony coral reef tank. It's about 600 gallons, and I think it's one of the nicest reef aquarium displays at any retail shop in the Denver area. This thing is chock full of corals, and the more you look, the more you'll find. This giant hammer coral has been a landmark of Denver area reef keeping for well over a decade, so definitely had to throw this guy in here. He lives in a 3 by 4 foot aquarium and outgrows it every several years. At the end of the first day of the local fish store crawl, I ended up at the house of Rob Mouget, and boy was I in for a treat because there were so many awesome fish here. And what you're seeing in this video is a mango angelfish. This is a pygmy dwarf angelfish species that only comes from Guam, but some other angelfish that Rob had include this amazing, just totally studly Griffith's angelfish. Sometimes this fish looks kind of gray when it's not too happy, but when they're really thriving, they really show a lavender face and a bluish body overall. Some other stupendous fish in Rob's collection is this amazing pair of full-grown tinker-eyed butterfly fish. The Tinker's butterfly fish for me was the first quote-unquote rare fish that I ever learned about when I was growing up in the hobby. And what's amazing about these fish is when they extend their fins, they have this amazing showy war crest that really complements their diagonal body color of black and white. Truly studly fish, only comes from Hawaii, and Rob's pair is truly stunning. One specialty that we have in our area is a Colorado sunburst bubble tip anemone. Obviously these guys came from the ocean, but they've really proliferated here in the Colorado area. Most fish stores have a sunburst or two kicking around. It's always nice to see this unique strain of bubble tip. A Favia moonbrain was probably the second coral I ever bought, so every time I see a nice colony, I really take a moment to stop and appreciate it. I might have gone to fewer shops on day 2 of the massive LFS fish store crawl, but I saw just as many cool things. And this is one very large colony of branching Cyphastria decadia. It's one of the few corals besides acro that has an axial tip at the end of its branches, and this is just a really nice colony in this show tank. And another coral that they had was just this large, wonderful red dragon acro that was actually looking red. In some lights it's kind of brownish, but under these acro optics, this coral was really shining. I don't know that much about pike cichlids, but I know that a lot of people are really specialized at them. And this Lenticularis pikefish really grabbed my attention because it had these bright, bold spots all over his face, these really cool markings down the body. I know that so many pike cichlids have a juvenile coloration that is quite bold and attractive, so I don't know what this guy will grow into, but right now he's looking really studly. The big surprise that I saw on my tour was seeing this display reef that was nearly completely overtaken by Pocillopora damicornis. This coral species has a tendency to basically spit out ready-formed larvae that can settle out just about anywhere in the tank, and they've completely done so on this aquarium. It's almost to the point where they should remove like the rest of the corals and just let it become one huge field of green Pocillopora damicornis. At least it was a colorful variety and not the brown Pocillopora damicornis, but it's been a couple years since this coral's been taking over this tank. It's going to be really interesting to see what it does over the next year or two. Fish-only tanks have really kind of fallen out of favor in recent years, but this shop is a really huge double bullnose aquarium of several thousand gallons right in the middle of the shop, and it is home to a very large batfish that, yeah, he's really personable, swims around, not fully grown, but very healthy either way. I've seen a ton of these Biota Palau captive bred coral beauties at the source, but this is the first time I'm seeing them in a retail setting. They just look like perfect little firecrackers of color in a home aquarium. Large mature rainbow fish are perfect additions to large freshwater planted aquarium displays, and this shop had them aplenty. We also had some roseline sharks and red millennium rainbows, just a really cool scene. The Annularis angelfish is a very common and very beautiful species of angelfish. This was the first large angelfish that I ever owned, and they're just simply just great aquarium fish. They eat easily, they're easy to get, they're pretty affordable, and they're just quite a looker from juvenile to adult stages. So I like to take a moment to stop and enjoy their beauty every time I see one, and this guy is really good, looking good. Some strains of monopora have gotten so common that it's not hard to see them grown out. This shop had several small colonies of monopora spongotes, and it's really cool to see what they turn into. This double Super Da Vinci clownfish really caught my attention for having the white markings all along its upper back. Some people are really down with the domesticated clownfish strains. I like to appreciate them from a distance. They've gotten a lot better in recent years, so this is a really cool specimen. Appreciation for mushroom anemones and Rhodactis in particular has exploded in recent years, and this shop seems to be ground zero for this awesome strain of red Rhodactis that I have in my home aquarium and is also making the rounds. There was enough of this coral to be a host for a clownfish. One thing I love about this shop is their 175-gallon Beaufront reef tank, which has several colonies that don't get moved around. So from year to year when I come to the shop, I get to see the same colonies grown out, and it's just really rare in this day of aquarium frags to see large mature colonies that don't get messed with. That was a Turbinaria, and here's a large sprung stunner, really looking how it should as it's been grown out. One great quality to have in the aquarium hobby is patience, because several years ago a mycelium like this would have cost you hundreds of dollars, but nowadays even normal reef aquarium shops can stock several beautiful colonies which are available at an affordable price. This store pet is a rare spotted turtle from the southeastern United States. These are rare in the wild, rare in aquariums, and I love to see them every year on my annual Reef Stock LFS crawl. I definitely have a penchant for saving the best for last, and this Gramica striped dartfish was really a cool surprise to see. The color and finish on this guy, so nice, I had to take him home. The only other fish that I picked up on my travels was a really unusual looking rusty angelfish. I have some theories about what he might be, but we'll wait for a future video to give him a full feature. So man, wasn't that a fantastic collection of fish and corals and just general aquariums? I could have made this video easily twice, 3 times as long, but I really just tried to point my camera lens at some of the coolest things that you don't generally get to see every day when you go to the fish store. I know I was in for a few surprises, and it just goes to show you that a healthy local fish store population in your general area really contributes to a healthy and thriving reef aquarium community. So whatever you do, support your local fish stores. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and definitely subscribe. I hope you've enjoyed some of the few videos that I put out weekly on giant clam farming, on breeding coral beauties, and traveling to some dive spots in Palau. I still have a lot of those to come, but right now I'm just really busy with reef stock. But I'm gonna keep the upload schedule, so make sure to subscribe. If you're in the Denver area, come to Reef Stock the last weekend of February. This is gonna be a great show. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.